I gotta click on this and see how long ago this was. Let's see. It was August 18th, 2011. So I've had this computer 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 5 years officially this year that the Too Wicked 2 computer has been operational. I don't even know what I was talking about, but let me switch over here and let's watch this. This is how far we've come, and we're going to talk about this computer with the Intel i5 2500K Sandy Bridge, HD 6850K, of course, all the standard hardware with the 8 gigs of RAM that they give you and everything else, or that I won. I wish I'd actually got that grand prize, but I got the, not the grand prize, but I got the first prize of this. Anyway, let's watch this. Let me switch over, and then we'll move on to the future, to the present, and talk about the current particular computer setup. Let me mute this.
Giving you the news that you had won because you had no idea that you had won this computer.
I had no clue whatsoever that I won this computer, so yeah, you are correct. So let me switch over here. And hope you might get a little feedback because I did unmute the speaker, so just deal with that. Why does it seem like my... Wait a minute, hang on. Why does it seem like this is... Oh, there we go. I must have clicked something. Anyway, my screen over there was wrong. All right, here we go.
Okay. All right, so this right here for everybody out there, this is Guntoad is fractioning our reaction because he says I'm going to crap my pants and scream like a little girl whenever I hear this. Now, I remember this particular sweepstakes, but I just now got an email from Newegg right now. I mean, I literally live with the tab open for YouTube and check messages and stuff and reply to everybody I can. And this is what it says from Newegg. Congratulations, you're the second place prize winner. Congratulations, you are a prize winner of this video. And it gives the link, and I'm sure Guntoad will put the link to the video below so that you can check it out. And it says, please reply, blah, blah, blah. And it says, if you don't reply within 7 days, they'll redraw. And don't you think that I didn't stop what I was doing right there and send an email through YouTube and through my regular email. So we're 1 minute and 2 seconds into this video, and I want to play it now to see what it is that I won as the second prize from Newegg. Because I love Newegg, and it's not a hype because I won. Everybody out there in the world that knows me knows I promote Newegg more than I do anything. Isn't that correct, Guntoad?
Yeah, Newegg's the shit. That's where I got my PC from.
Right, me too. I don't buy anything from anybody but Newegg because, I mean, it just can't be beat. I mean, there's tinkers and toys and stuff that, you know, we get at the convenience store and all that. But anyway, let me play this. That's not too loud, is it?
No.
Okay. Really?
And the second prize is this system based on a Core i5 2500 gaming processor.
What? Oh my gosh! And I was just looking at the how-to.
Craft you just won a free computer.
Yes, indeed! Ah! Oh wait, it's screaming like a little girl.
Oh, wow. That's fucking insane.
Oh my gosh. My Sky Wizard is, or I'm sorry, Cloud Wizard is truly amazing. Take that, Lucid. Take that. I shall continue to pray to my Cloud Wizard. You believe what you want to, dude. Karma is the bomb. Oh man, I'm shaking.
I don't even know what's even in that computer. I don't even know. Besides the processor.
Well, they have down here. Oh yeah, build one. Here we go. I'll link you. Coffee.
Crash Test won a computer.
I want a fucking computer. Let's look at what it has in it.
I remember that too because the minute I saw that you won that computer, I immediately looked at the graphics card. I don't know if you remember this, but I looked at the graphics card that was in there, and I ordered the next step above your graphics card you want.
It's got 4
Just
gigs
to
of
be an
RAM.
asshole.
Intel i5 Sandy Bridge. That's the one I wanted. Yes. Gigabyte motherboard. A light on, probably just a DVD. It's got light scribe, player, standard. 500 gig hard drive. Oh, it's got a 620 power supply. And that case right there, I always loved that case. I always wanted to get that case and do a case mod on it. Have it like painted.
Yeah.
The Cooper Master HAF 912. Oh my goodness. $806.92 prize. Yes!
Maybe just a little bit.
That's fucking beast.
And I was just sitting here going, with that job and it not working out, I really, and I've been telling you guys, I really need to build a new PC.
What are you gonna name it? 2 Wicked 3 or something?
I am going to deem this one the 2 Wicked 1.1.
Oh.
Yes, indeed. Wait a minute. The 2 Wicked 1 version 2. Yes.
So it'll be 2W1V2.
That's right. 2W1V2. Hey, that's a good name. I'll put that on there.
All right, so you guys didn't hear my response to that, but there we go. That was the video right there where we had the i5 and I won the computer from Newegg. It's pretty awesome. So stepping back from 5 years ago now, okay, up until now, let's talk about this year's build. Because the only thing we've really done is builds for other people. Done builds and given away computers to colleges. We've done builds and given away computers to, or I know you weren't really a part of it because that was kind of like the dark times and the silent times of 2012, 13, 14, and me re-emerging. And then a lot of people don't realize that even though that things were kind of dark for me for like 2 years, I was still trying to help other people with getting computers up and running. But going from there to here, we come from the i5 with the 6850, and which is a performance card, by the way. I did find that out. Let's talk about 2016 now. Since you've re-emerged and you and I get to talking again.
Yep.
The quality that you've seen the A10 7890K versus the RX 480 is no comparison whatsoever.
No,
So let's talk about.
There's none.
Yeah, there is none. So let's talk about the RX 480, just point blank. And let me get over here to RX 480. RX. Actually, and let's talk about. Actually, forget that. Let's go over here. Go to my channel. And we'll actually look at the card, and I'll mute this because this is my video, so nobody can say anything about it. Let's look at this particular build here. We'll mute the mic. And we'll have a look at the RX 480 right there, full screen, while we discuss this. Now, this particular build, for those of you who may not want to go back and look at it before I let Guntoe take over, it's very simple. It is a Gigabyte motherboard, the A88X Bolton 4. It does have the Dark Power or Team Dark 2400 overclock. Even though on the picture on Newegg doesn't show overclock, it is overclocked RAM. Okay, so you can set that up in your BIOS. Mine does have the UFE BIOS, or whatever you call it, dual BIOS thing. And we have the now X4 880K processor with the RX 480. I am running that German power supply, which I very, very much love. Be Quiet power supplies. This one is a straight power 10. The closest one to it now is like a 5 or a 550. And there you go. I mean, that's pretty much it. The rest of it's up to you. Hard drive's up to you and everything else. And just tell me what your thoughts are here initially. 2016, what do you think?
Well, I'll start it out by saying, so I recently basically went through a little bit of card trouble. The card that I had gotten to one up your card basically died on me a couple months back. Just couldn't fix it, couldn't do anything. It was just failing, and I was getting like black screen boots, and I couldn't do anything looking it up for 3 days straight, and it basically was ruined. So what happened there is I got a borrow card, which is it's an NVIDIA 662 gig something. It doesn't really matter, and it's working fine. But I had basically completely written off AMD at that point because it was basically a problem with the drivers that could not be fixed because of the age of the card. And then from there, I was basically done with AMD. I didn't want anything to do with them because I had to go through days and days of just bullshit and stress and all these issues that I couldn't get resolved. And anything that I looked up was basically like, well, it's your fault. You didn't upgrade your card recently. Haha, it's your fault. And then now, after having seen everything that has happened with this build that you've done, I have literally no problems getting a card, this card that you've gotten, or one similar that you have. It has been a complete 180 because of the performance and how just everything is so smooth, everything runs great, and you have no issues with anything. I would have no problem getting another card like this. After I had been just completely put off from AMD so hard with my other card.
And the thing is, you saying that, it's very, very, very particular that you say that. It's like I said, I don't know if you've watched my YouTube videos recently, but over the past few months, the number one thing that I've had a problem with ever with AMD is their drivers. Their software has never been caught up. Their software never has any resolutions. And they always, whenever you go researching it for weeks on end, it loops back around to where it's your fault. It's like, no, motherfuckers, no. Your hardware works fine. I love it, but your drivers suck. Yep. That's the thing that's always gotten me, which this year...
That's the one thing.
That's the number one thing. This year, surprisingly, they've turned that 180 and said, you know what? Maybe our drivers do suck. Because I noticed, ever since I posted those couple of videos, and I took them down just out of respect for them, because, like I said, I don't have a problem with AMD. I've always had a problem just with their drivers. But I took those videos down because they took the drivers down. Because the 16.4 drivers, if you go look on their site now, they're not even available anymore. They reversed that and taken everybody back to the 15.2 drivers for the APUs, which is basically 16.1 driver Crimson. The basic Crimson drivers. That's the only ones that work for that. You can't even get the 16.6 or 16.7 drivers anymore for the newest technology, which is the RX 480. So that in itself says, okay, well, we better do something or we're going to lose all these billions of dollars that we're trying to rake in on this hardware. Because I've said this in every video that I've bitched about. and complained and rant and raved about. I've never had a problem out of the hardware. It's rock solid. More so, in my opinion, than Intel. More so, in my opinion, than GTX, NVIDIA, anybody. Their hardware, you could drop off a cliff, plug it into a computer, and it'll fucking work. But their software is squishy as squishy is. That's the problem I've always had with them. But now, with the RX 480, I'm looking at, oh my God, here is a card that I can slide. You know, let's have a look at it. Let's just go over here and we'll have a look at it. Here's a card where I can go over here and I'm trying to pick computers and all that. And I can pick frequencies, dynamic frequencies. You know, here we are, the last game we ran, H1Z1. You know, it gives you statistics. This is the last activity that you had over here. You were running at 100% activity, 1290 megahertz. You know, your temperature got up to 87°C, which is pretty hot. But I'm thinking, and I felt the heat coming around, but I'm thinking that's because I have my AC on 70 right now rather than 67 as normal.
I mean, like 87°C is still not that hot.
It's not that hot. Whenever
it's not something that you would want to just have. I would say like 93 is where you don't want to go. Anywhere higher than that, it's like, But I mean, 87 with you running it pretty much everything at max as well as you can, and having it running at
and remember, the last thing that I ran was at max settings in H1Z1. I turned it all the way up to 3000.
Yeah.
So, that said, running 1290, and I backed it down to dynamic at a peak of 1290, and I could turn it down further than that. I just put it at dynamic. I let it set its own thing, automatic, voltage and everything. And I don't have a fear of my motherboard melting because mine has the military grade and all this, you know, surge protection and what have you. 1290, I did back it down to that tonight, as you can see right here. People on the actual, you know, highlight will be able to see this, but that's where I have it peaked out at. And that's what we actually peaked out here. Now I can back it back down to 1288. I can go back down to 1266 or even throttle it back further, but there's no need for it because even at idle here, I'm only running at 44°C, and that's with a room temperature of 70 degrees. Looking at the actual, I'll tell you this, I have a 30-gallon tank over here right next to this PC that'll give you room temperature. Water, as a lot of people know, gives you a true measurement, in my humble opinion. That's one reason why I have it sitting over here where I can get kind of like a room temperature type of idea. But let me peek over here and see what the thermometer says in the tank, and I'll let you know. It says water temperature is 68, room temperature is 70, so we're somewhere in between those 2 degrees. And that said, like Gun Toad said, 87°C is not bad. Whenever you hit 90s, 93, 94, 95, then yeah, you got a problem. Airflow, water cool, something. You got to clean your PC out or whatever. But I have no problems with the way this card performs. Now, I have crashed the drivers. I'll admit it. But that's my own stupidity for trying to push this card past 1366 and going back and looking at the absolute drunken stupor of a stream that I did last time on Black Desert, running the, like, I don't know, unsanctioned, like, graphics that they have, test graphics.
Can I just say something about that game real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
That game is ridiculous with its graphics. Like, not like, yeah, it's really pretty, but like, you have to have a monster of a computer to run that as smooth as possible.
Agreed.
I don't know if it's partially because it's unoptimized, which I have a feeling it is, but like it is insane how high you have to have, like how high end you have to have a machine to run that.
They have their own engine. That's the thing. They're running like the whatever it is, Pearl Abyss engine or Dom engine or whatever it is. Whoever owns that game, they created that engine around that game. They didn't use the CryEngine, Unreal Engine, or anything else. They created an engine to run that game. That's got to have a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I think because it is such a new engine that it is very not optimized, and you basically just have to have like a god tier computer. You're like, I'm running this at like 200 frames per second maxed out. Like I don't even think there is a computer. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's probably some guy with a computer that has like 4 graphics cards.
Yeah, I was just thinking that when you said that.
64 gigs RAM and all this crazy shit in his computer that can run that computer or that can run that game like that.
But here's the deal. For me, and I've had people, and I just asked an opinion the other night. You were there. We had people in chat, brand new viewers going, what the fuck is in your computer? And I was told them, hey, this is a $700 rig. It's a test model of a build that I'm doing, $700 or less. And I'm like, $700? What the fuck? They just couldn't believe it. And no word of a lie, during the most extreme part of the game where you have a storm coming through and you have all this particle and all this rain and camera splash, and you saw it, you were there, and I was only getting like 30 frames a second, and the guy was like, holy shit, that's really good for that build. What is it you said you were running again? And I went over to the specs, and he goes, yeah, that's really good. And I was like, well, and I had to ask him. I went back, I was like, are you trolling me? I was like, are you really being serious? Or, what's the deal? He goes, no, really, high-end computers have a hard time running this game during this particular period of time at 30 frames a second. And if your computer could run it at 30 frames a second for $700, oh my God. That's pretty much what the guy was saying. Am I wrong?
No, he was basically just said exactly what you said, and it's like for that price, it's pretty nuts. I would have to say.
And that's the thing.
Well everything runs.
That's the thing I don't understand is when people go to building these computers, we automatically and once again, I don't want to fanboy out on AMD, but all the way back to the first computer I ever built was the 6400. Remember that shit?
Yeah.
The first quad core or dual core quad core, I don't know what it was back in the day. The very first computer I built was a AMD build. And then we moved on to the Intel build, and we stuck with that for a while. But I always, in the back of my mind, I always told you guys I love AMD. My God, this hardware is like a tank because I'm moving it back and forth here and there. It puts up with power surges, lightning strikes, and everything else, where most people's like, oh my God, my computer died. And it's not like that with this. And now I can truthfully say that other than their software, which has gotten light years better than in the past, that it's just this build here for $700, a complete AMD build, is rock solid. There's no other way to put it. And all these people out there that's trying to say, well, I'm going to do this $600 build or this $500 build, but I'm going to put an i3 in it. Or I'm going to put this i5 and skimp on the RAM and the power supply. Fuck that shit. Go with AMD, because with the average consumer, and that's the target base for AMD right now, that's their goal, I saw this, and you know me. Whenever I see something, you've known me long enough to know. Whenever I see something, I say, okay, well, AMD's coming out with XYZ. I'm going to take X, and I'm going to use X, and I'm going to see if X works for a little while.
Yeah.
And if X works, then I'm going to add Y. And if I can afford Y, I'm going to get the best fucking Y I can get. And then when Z comes out, RX 480, when Z comes out, I'm going to save my pennies and I'm going to get Z. And when Z comes out, X, Y, and Z, I'm going to put all three of them to the test. And that's what I did. Now, granted, I could have gone different routes as far as, price-wise. This computer could actually be a $400 build. Maybe $500 pushing it. But the thing is, you wouldn't have the 88X. You wouldn't have the 2400 RAM. You probably could shop around. And that's the main thing. But for this computer to be what it is, sitting right here next to me, such a beautiful build. The only regret that I have is that the fans aren't blue in the front, or aren't red. They're blue. That's the only regret on this entire build, as stupid as that sounds.
Well, I mean, you better throw it in the garbage now.
Oh my God, the lights. And there's people out there that have that attitude. That's the sad thing about it.
I mean, like, the bluntest way to put it is, like, you could get a 1070 or a 1080 right now. And yeah, it may perform better than this card, but that's $600 to $700 for a card. Whenever you could just build this computer for that much.
Yeah, I mean, and it's ridiculous because even JP, Kitty, people that's coming over, the gods of games, they over here all the time. Fallon's over here, and she was like, "Can I play on your computer?" I'm like, "Why?" She goes, "Because I like the way it looks." I'm like, "What the fuck?" The 720 to the 1080 is night and day. You know what I mean? And a 4-year-old sees this. It's just like, why would you want to just make it rain for nothing whenever you can get, and you've seen this. I've proved it. I've posted YouTube videos since day one of getting this card consistently with the X4. 63 frames a second plus. People always talk about this bottleneck. I haven't seen a bottleneck yet. The new architecture works with AMD. Period. The end. Stop trying to make AMD look bad. Intel is amazing. Don't get me wrong. I still, like I've told people, I still love my i5 build. Dual graphics, main gaming PC up until I built this computer. Now shifting over, it's like, well, it's a new era. That's the problem that people have, is trying to shift their mind from, oh my God, I got to have the 1060. I got to have the 1070. I got to have the 1080, to where you can say, well, I don't have to spend $3,000 on a computer. I don't have to do that. I can spend $700 or $800 or $900 and have a decent computer. And that's what we got to do.
Because the other aspect of it, and the way that I've always looked at computers, is like, I'm not an enthusiast. I don't want to be an enthusiast. I don't have the money to be an enthusiast. I think enthusiast is fucking crazy. But to me, what you want to do is you want to get a computer that you can upgrade and that you can last at least a decade.
Exactly.
At least.
And that's
at
the
least
deal.
A decade, reliably, no issues. No, well, I can't run this because I don't have this. It's, oh, I can't run this. Hang on, let me just spend a little bit, get a little upgrade, and we're fine.
Right.
Not, I can't do it because of this. This major thing that I can't do.
And see, that's the deal.
Foundation.
That's the deal with a lot of this new tech is that by the time you think you're cool, like let's say the 1080, and I'm doing that because Game Lounge 78 says, Fury would destroy the 1080. And I'm assuming that you're talking about the 980 or the 390 Fury would destroy it. The AMD. That's true right now in the architecture that we're in. But like Guntoad's saying, a decade down the road, let's take, for example, perfect fucking example, like I was talking about, the i5 Sandy Bridge. And you remember this because we just showed the video a little while ago. This computer still runs, believe it or not, this computer's still running a stock cooler. As big of a sin as that may be. But that's how solid this Intel Sandy Bridge chip is.
Yeah,
But that was 5 fucking years ago.
Like my computer, the one that I have right now is stock cooler.
Yeah.
And I bought that a little bit before you got yours.
I remember
I
because
think
I was so
it
jealous.
has-
I don't
Yeah.
even know if you ever knew that. I was like, fucking Guntoad. He always gets good shit. You know, that's just the way it was. That's, the camaraderie. I win this computer. What did you do? You got to get the next graphics card. What the fuck, dude? That's just the way it is.
I mean, you
But
suck.
here's the
That's all
what
there
I'm-
is to it.
What I'm getting at is that this computer is now 5 years old. Okay? I could very easily throw an SSD. Now, this one has a hybrid drive. The first generation, the very first hybrid drive ever created, to my knowledge, and Newegg says this, Paul Hardware. I wouldn't think Paul's Hardware would lie to me. But it was the very first hybrid drive. Never had a problem out of it. The only problem I've had out of it over the past couple of years is that the boot time is hella slow. When I first got it, it was hella slow. But once you're on it and loaded up on your operating system, which I'll show you right now, here, this is the actual computer. I don't even know why this ain't even working. Here we go. But as you can see, going in here is very snappy. Okay. Now, browsers, of course, you can't really tell, but going from one to the other, let's just do this. Let's open this tab up once again. Okay. Very snappy for what it does. Now, there is a 2 terabyte, I think, hard drive connected to it. And there's also, like over here, there's a 2 terabyte hard drive hooked up to it, and there's also another 120 for the main games that I play. Because this build was the main build 5 years ago. I just added, 2 years ago, the 120 to it. I've been running pretty much a solid state drive, which I'll show you. Matter of fact, let's go back over here and I'll show you what I'm running. Let's go up to the computer. This is the streaming computer, what I'm actually recording this on. This is the hybrid drive, local drive C. This one is, what is this? 500 gigs. I thought it was a terabyte. It ain't even a terabyte. I got robbed. That's supposed to be a terabyte drive. But anyway, as you can see, yeah, that's right, isn't it? No, hang on. That's supposed to be a terabyte drive. But anyway, here we go. We got this 120, which is only 111. You know, they don't ever give you all of it. But this is my setup for the past 5 years. This one I've always hovered right around 80 to 100 gigs because I purge it of shit that I don't need. This is a spin drive. So pretty much my point, hybrid drive, spin drive, solid state drive. This is the evolution of this computer. Okay. And now, with this newest computer, it's completely opposite. We're running a fully solid state drive as the main drive, and then a mass storage spin drive for games that I might want to test or whatever. Now, eventually, like I said in the video for this $700 build, that's just getting you going with an operating system less than $700. Do not, under any circumstances ever, and Guntoad will tell you this as well, I'm sure, do not ever skimp out on a fucking power supply. Ever.
Do not.
Do not. And I remember talking to you whenever I bought the first German power supply. You got lost at Walmart shortly thereafter, but but you and I were talking about those Be Quiet power supplies back during that Black Friday sale. Remember that shit?
Yeah, I remember.
And I was like, I got to get one of these because it's the first one made from Germany. And everybody's like, Heil, Heil, das Führer, Heil, and all this good stuff about Germany. You know, German, Volkswagen, and all this other Das Wagen. That's when we had the joke going, you know, Das this, Das that. And I was like, I got to try this shit. My God, it's the first time that America's got to sell these things. Still got it. JP runs it in his 8370 build, you know, his 8-core build over there. I run one in this build with the RX 480, and I will never buy another high-end build power supply that's not either a Be Quiet or what's the other one? EGVA or what is it called? EGVA? Yeah, EGVA. Cooler Master, heard too many bad things about them. You may love them, not bashing them, but those are the two main brands.
So when it comes to me and power supplies, I just say screw it, and I get way too much wattage than I will ever need. So the one that's in my computer right now is a 750 watt. I'm never gonna need that much.
Right.
But I always get it. It is a Cooler Master.
Right.
It's a bronze.
As long as it's an 80 bronze, it's cool.
It's an 80 bronze.
80 bronze, 80 gold is plenty. 80 platinum is overkill.
Yeah. What had happened to my previous stock, whatever the hell they shoved into this computer, is basically some gunk got into it, and it was just shutting off whenever it would get too hot.
Right.
So I got this one, which is 750 watt. I got it for, I believe, less than $35.
Nice.
Is whenever I got it. I think I had ordered it during like a sale or some kind of Newegg Flash thing.
And I
haven't had a single problem.
And I'm not gonna lie. Matter of fact, I'll show you something. I'm going to test it out. Now, if it lets me down, I'm going to throw it down the hill and call them bad names. You already know me. I'll call you out in a YouTube video at a heartbeat. Don't piss me off. You already know. I will call you out. But yeah, it's EVGA. Now, I bought this power supply right here. I'll show you. Me and Fallon did an unboxing of this the other day on another stream. When was that? Yesterday or day before yesterday. But this is the 600 watt power supply by EGVA that, if I can get it to come the fuck out, there we go. It's not modular. Okay. The only thing I don't like about it, big fucking whoop. But this, as you can see, put this here. It's not in bad shape. Okay, see the scratches there. Here's the back. It's like it's a new, power supply, as you can see. Okay. I think it's quite nice.
Yeah.
Okay, see this right here? Now
the
this 600 watt power supply, I took a chance, albeit, but once I got it, I was like, yeah, I can see where it was installed. I can tell this. This power supply has been installed by somebody. Probably what happens 99% of the time with power supplies is the fan failed. I don't know why that is. But it probably, because looking at the fan, and I know you can't see this very well, but see that fan, how spiffy that fan looks right there? I'm really on purpose trying to get a light glare on it. But 99% of the time when a power supply fails on delivery is because it overheats and the circuit breakers kick in and they have to change the fan. I paid for this 600 watt EVGA $29. Other than that, this is the brand new. Smelling it, hadn't been used. Because you can smell when something's bad. If you're really good at electronics, you can tell when something's been abused. It has that aroma, that burnt solder smell to it, burnt circuits. But it's not used. It's what they call refurbished. $29 from Newegg. And as soon as I curse Newegg out for messing up my delivery, what do? Turn around and buy a computer case and a power supply from them. But that's just how it works. But looking at it aesthetically, I know you can't see it in front of you, but this is a brand new power supply. The only difference is that it's not modular. Now, I will do a test on this on a future build, which is going to be a true 880K CPU next weekend. Because all I got to get is or not next weekend, week after next, I should say. Because I have to get a motherboard for this processor up here. And another graphics card. If I'm lucky, yeah, the electric burn smell, which this one doesn't have. And, you know, anybody that's been around it can smell it. This right here smells fresh. Probably a fan failed. Send it back to the factory. Change the fan. Send it out. I've bought power supplies like that on several occasions. Hell, JP's got one. And we actually took an actual fan, like a 120, like side case fan, disassembled that shit, put it in here, and it worked just fine. Which computer is he using? Like a case fan, and put it in there. I'm not even lying when I say that. He's got a power supply. I'm trying to remember what computer. He's using a computer that has that right now. It's crazy. So, anyway, EVGA, I trust, and Be Quiet. But Be Quiet would be my number one pick. And I
myself can say that as far as I know, Cooler Master has not disappointed me.
Hey,
So
Cooler Master's not bad. I'm not
recommend
dogging them. By no means. Don't get me wrong. But I just know that these are the two that are good. Cooler Master's good too. But I'm wanting to say that's a Cooler Master. I'm not wrong. That's a Cooler Master we had to change the fan out on his. So it's not... Power supplies are not immune to name brands. That's my point after 15 fucking minutes. But that's my point of telling everybody that. Never, ever, ever skimp out. And this 600 watt power supply, all it's going to run is one video card and an X4 880K. That's my point. More than sufficient, because the max power supply that is required for an X4 or an RX 480 is 500 watts of a true 80 plus, and that's what this is, 80 plus bronze. And it came with the warranty card and everything else, so I don't have to worry about, oh well, you just own it. No, because I've made documentation of it on video. We did open box, all that other good stuff. So if it fails, they're going to take care of it. And Newegg's always been good to try to make things right. The only fiasco they had that I can remember recently is the shipping fiasco for the RX 480. So there you go.
I have a feeling you are over that at this point. It probably is a little stinky.
Yeah, I mean, I'm over it. Like I said in the video, like I said in my update, whenever I get the card, I'll get over it. Everything will be hunky-dory, and we'll be good. But right now, I'm pissed the fuck off because I missed my 5 minutes of fame. And that could have actually pushed my channel on YouTube over the top. I could have got past that 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 mark on subs. Well, now it's over with. Everybody's got the t-shirt. They're running their rebellions at this point. And now I'm trying to run damage control for my channel because now everybody's like, whatever. But have they done the true test? Have they done what we did? Look at here. I mean, have they done this? Have you messed around with this and showed people live footage of how your card's acting? We've been sitting here for this long, and here my card is, it's idling. And you guys are seeing this on and off. It's in the 40s. People don't do this type of test because they want to do that quick 2 or 3 minute video. I love this, I hate that. And then they all this splicey little editing instead of being real with people like back in the day and saying, hey, this is how this card acts. Yes, the drivers crashed when I did this. You know, like this one. It crashed whenever I got past 1370. Remember that shit? I had to go back and look because I was drunk as fuck, and I don't remember. But I really shouldn't have been overclocking. I was like, let's go. I watched that video. I was like, oh, my God. I'm surprised I didn't fall asleep.
You get drunker. You get drunk real fast, and you do not admit to your drunkenness.
Until
very stubborn.
Until I go back and look at it, I was like, oh my God, what was I?
You've done that since I have known you. Every time I've caught you falling asleep, and I do the videos before that, an hour or two before that. I'm like, dude, you need to go to lay bed because you're drunk. And what do I get? I'm not drunk. Shut up.
Ever since, yeah, you're right. I'll admit it.
That's how you are every time.
Not tonight though. I'm not drunk. Anyway.
Oh, I can tell when you're drunk. You ain't drunk right now.
Huh? I'm not. I'm good to go.
Yeah, you're fine.
All right. I'm buzzing, but I'm good to go. Okay. So anyway, all right. Let's talk about the last stream that you saw, Black Desert. All right, and then you showed up tonight at the beginning of the stream, which is awesome. Tell everybody while I go get me another drink and get drunk as fuck. Tell everybody out there right now, Black Desert last stream, your impressions, how we stepped through 4%, 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5. I think we stopped at 6.5. And then I had to back it down. And you don't have to go in detail about it, but just the Wattman and the frame rates that we're getting on this card right now. You remember, if you do remember about, you know, what your impressions are on this particular card, visually, one step to another, 1288 to 1350. The other night, watching Black Desert to watching Trackmania and then finally H1Z1. You know, compare my footage to other people's footage. What do you think about the quality of stream? Not only stream, and I keep saying stream, but, you know, that's how we kind of compare each other. My stream in high quality, non-partner, compared to a partner. Let's do that. Go.
Well, I mean, there's barely a difference. That it's one of those things where, like, yeah, you can notice it if you're an asshole that needs to full screen, have everything in 4K, and be this max res of everything. You can notice it, of course. But if you just go to the Twitch channel, you put it into theater mode, you compare it to any partnered stream that has a 1080p 60 frames per second. The only thing that you can really tell is there's a slight bump in quality and the frame rate. Other than that, it looks exactly the same as any other partner channel. And the muscle that was being put on Black Desert, because that game is ridiculous trying to run it good on any settings, it handled it fine. It stayed at 30 through pretty much everything. There was no drop. You didn't fall down to 15 frames per second during crazy action. It stayed at 30 no matter what you did. Tinkering with the settings that the game itself said, this is unstable, this isn't right, this could mess with stuff. It didn't drop it at all. And when you turn that off, when you turn the other setting off, it jumped up to, I think it jumped up to 50 and 60 frames per second.
That's
No
right,
problem.
it sure did. You know, because I was kind of wondering, was that my overclocking or was that those two little click marks? And it was the click marks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's no difference between a non-partnered stream and a partnered one. The main difference would be the frame rate. I would say probably the frame rate, just because for some reason they locked that behind being partnered.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
And that's
on
where...
Twitch, because it's a PC, it's mainly PC stuff that's being streamed. why would you limit non-partnered to 30?
Well, I'm still wanting to know where this HTML5 is, because that's supposed to eliminate all that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm not understanding. Twitch keeps on boasting for the past year and a half now. We're going to get HTML5. We're going to get HTML5.
Well, they have the.
I don't see it.
If you have Turbo, you can get into the beta for it. So it is actually finally coming.
I haven't gotten in it yet. I've been in Turbo since Twitch has been existing. I've paid, I don't know how many thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars since Twitch has existed. You know this. I'm a Turbo. I've been a Turbo user since I was broke. Like back when I lived at the other place. And they won't let me in. I'm kind of upset about that. I don't know who to complain to, because I've been a Turbo user paying Twitch this money, basically like I just will get fucking Netflix and be done with it for the money that I'm paying them, which is $8.99 a month now. It used to be only $7. Remember that? It used to be $6.99 a month.
Yeah.
And then it went up to $8.99.
The way I think it's working now is that it's for streamers that you watch, not your own, that has the HTML5.
Well, I understand that. Yes,
I am not
I understand
sure,
that.
because I'm not a Turbo member. I don't know.
I have applied for every beta. Okay, and I'm looking at you, Twitch, if you happen to be looking at this stream. I have applied for every beta since I've opened 12th Power Gaming. All right? Since day one. Every beta that you've had out there, and never once got into anything. Playlist, all right, the beta friends list, the HTML5, nothing, and it's bullshit. I love the concept of everything, and I'm one of those people, as you know, like we're doing right here. We'll sit here and we'll talk about it, the pros, the cons, the bugs, and give you, an unbiased opinion, because we're not getting paid for this shit. Me and Gun Toad sitting here for the past 2 hours now, giving you our consumer point of view. I mean, am I wrong? No?
No.
And that's where I think they need to step back from their corporate mentality and start getting down with the little man and saying, well, maybe we might want to pick some people that's been here since the get-go. Where's our long-term... Pretty much seniority. I would put it as seniority. Because I see too many people coming in, day one and day three, oh, I'm a partner. What the fuck? What is that? But the people that have been here since the get-go, not necessarily a partner, don't misunderstand me, but people that want to participate on betas, on things, and give you feedback on things. They got a clean record. They ain't showing their titties or their vajayjay or their dong dazzler or whatever on stream. Let those guys participate on it, If you've been here more than a year, more than 2, 3, 4, hell, I don't even know how long Twitch has been Twitch since Justin TV's been out there. Because I was streaming there. Hell, that was 6 years ago. And still can't get no love. What's up with that? And I know admin.
Really weird.
I personally, on Twitch, know admin. Ireland of Indor. Buana. He gave up his adminship. But I knew Buana. And I knew Buana back when he was on Tech TV back in 1998. I know big timers. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous how their mentality is on who they accept to test out things for them. I don't know. I don't know how to put it.
It seems like it's now more based on consistency as who they pick, more than consistency and basically popularity. It's not based on how long you've been here, or how long you've done this, or how long you've done that. It's how often do you stream to get our numbers up, and how popular are you with like 13 to 16-year-old kids.
And that's the thing. I would stream every fucking day if I knew that I had a chance. Even being tired. I'd come home dog tired and whatever if I knew I had a chance.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to come home and force myself. And sometimes I do. Like tonight. I wasn't even going to stream, but I was like, you know what? Screw it. I want to go and I want to just chill. I want to have me some rum. I want to play Trackmania. hey, this other guy wanted me to play either Terra or H1Z1, and I swapped over. But my whole thing tonight was just to play Trackmania, because number one, it has good music. Too much wub for you, I guess, but that's okay. You know, I don't care about all that. When you're just trying to chill, that part doesn't matter to me. But
Yeah.
I would force myself to do it more if I knew I had incentive to do so. You know? It's not, and I know, oh, well, we're offering you a service. I know what they're going to say. We offer you the service. Well, guess what? There's 20 other services out there. You need actually to be competing for my service, because don't think in my mind, it hasn't crossed my mind to go to YouTube or go to, what is it, the other one? What's the other one I never can remember? It's up on my hot bar. Hitbox? Yeah, Hitbox.
Yeah.
You know, you got Hitbox, you got YouTube, you got still all the old channels out there. And, you know, I choose Twitch, not because everybody else is doing it, but just quite simply because it's the most stable since the internet's been right that I can get. YouTube and YouTube and XSplit and YouTube and Twitch has worked quite nicely together. It's just that with YouTube, it's really a niche, and you have to market yourself out there to do it.
Yeah,
whereas in
The way that
Twitch,
YouTube streaming works is like, it's, I don't know why they thought their whole chat system were integrated with the video. I don't know why they decided to do that, but it puts a bad incentive to have people watch you and chat with you, unlike how Twitch does it.
right?
Because Twitch, it's just bam, it's right there. You don't have to do anything. You just immediately chat. It's like, I believe with the YouTube thing, I think it's related to your Google Plus account or something weird with it. They may have fixed it. I don't know. I haven't used YouTube's streaming thing in a long time, so I'm not entirely sure. But I know it used to be a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, and the times that I've done it, please don't take no offense when I say this, but the times that I've streamed on YouTube, I got people from like Brazil. Like 0 Americans, I get everybody from Brazil. That's okay with me. Don't get me wrong. I know that it's worldwide, but it's like, where's my base? Where's my subscribers watching me that might be on right now? I never once saw anybody that was subscribed to me. It was always new viewers. And it's like, well, that's kind of bullshit. It should like send out an alert. Hey, you're subscribed to this channel. Come watch them. It was always somebody from Zimbabwe or somewhere, you know, on that particular service. Hey, Mr. Rogers, what's going on? Yeah, he's up late as fuck, he says. Yeah, we are too. We're going over. We're just having a podcast, basically.
Yeah, I should not be awake right now. I'm an old man now.
I'm
I have
sorry,
turned
dude.
into an old man.
But I mean,
But
it's a good
it's
discussion. I shouldn't be up this late either. But I mean, we're having a good discussion. If you need to go, I'll let you go.
Yeah.
But
No, I'm fine for right now.
we're not having to look at anything strenuous, so that's a good thing.
I'm an adult. I can do what I want.
You do that. You go ahead, do what you want. But we've totally gotten off the subject of the RX 480. Here's my opinion. I really haven't talked about it myself before I got your opinion on this, but here's what I have to say about it. I've used probably 5 different mainstream cards in the past 5 years. Every time something new came out, I tried to get it. As a matter of fact, we can step all the way back to 2008, and I've had the GTX, what is it, the 9600 GT, which was quickly taken off the market because every update that they did for that card, it was like a tuner card. It was like the HD 6850. It's a performance card. I still have that card over here, as a matter of fact, right there in the other room. I've had the GT, the 9600 GT. I've had the HD, at the time was pretty good. It was the HD 5850 or 5840, something like that, 5480, or I don't know what it was. Some 5000 series card. I've had the HD 6850. I've had the A10 7890K. And finally, we've built up to the RX 480. Going through every one of the evolutions of these cards, I can say without a shadow of a doubt that the RX 480 is, for its price, the best card that I have ever owned. I have done the benchmarks personally. I have looked at the numbers and put myself into a realistic point of view where I'm not trying to fool myself into thinking that the RX 480 is going to beat a 980 Ti or a 1080 Founders Edition, 1070 Founders Edition. I'm not going to do that. Huh?
I'll interject real quick with you and say that the build that my girlfriend has, that build is about a $1,300 build that her dad basically paid for.
Yeah.
And that has a 980 Ti in it. And hers barely outperforms yours. Barely. She was running Black Desert while you were streaming your Black Desert. And she was getting, I would say, 5 frames more. And that's about it. And hers is... Her setup is a monster. It's like the best that I could get at the time before the 1070, before the card that you have now came out. It was the best stuff that you could put in a computer that I could find.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, it used to be the top.
Mr. Rogers, can you hear Gunto talking, by the way?
Yes. I don't know about on the stream, but I can hear him right now when he's talking.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Welcome to the voice chat, by the way, Mr. Rogers. I think this is the first time we've ever talked in like 10 years. So,
yeah.
It's kind of creepy. Get out of here. Who is this?
I'll be the voiceless stalker once again. Bye.
You don't have to go, man. I'm just messing with you, Mr. Rogers. Yeah. The best moderator. And I'm gonna tell you this, God's honest truth, people. For me, he may be just doing it to make me feel good, but Mr. Rogers is the #1 viewer ever on my channel. If I ever get partnered on this channel, you can rest assured, sir. And I'm looking at you when I'm saying this. You will get a portion of my pay, guaranteed.
No
because. Way. No, I'm telling you because no, and the reason I'm saying that is because when nobody else ever watched my fucking channel, you've always been in my channel, every time.
Well, it's honestly I put Twitch on when I go to bed, and I usually catch 20, 30 minutes of your stream or something. It's either you or like 2 or 3 other people that I kind of.
But I lull you to sleep. That's the thing.
No, it's not that. It's just I gotta have something going in the background. I don't want to put on a movie,
Yeah, but I mean, you could put how many thousands and thousands of streamers could you watch doing the same thing, and you always come back here?
Well, I mean, supporting you, yeah.
I mean, that's the support I'm talking about.
Website. You had that old website. Or I don't know what website it was, but they'd play all the movies on repeat.
Yeah, me and Gunto were just talking about that. That was on Mogulus and Livestream.
It was, I remember back then, it was like 08 or 09, and it was me and Crazy Headred. We'd always be on there watching it, just having it on, just because.
Do you remember that dude, Gunto? Crazy Headred.
Yeah, his name was Peter. I actually played World of Warcraft with him for a minute after back then.
That dude was something else.
Cool
that
kid.
Dude was crazy.
He's a Crazy Headred.
Oh, my God. That dude was awesome.
I had forgotten that guy's name until you brought it up. And now I cannot forget that guy.
That dude was amazing. I mean, back then, I don't know.
Always on that chat room. It was like you and Lucid, and I think Nightwolf was on there. I think T2 had streamed your live streams, your previous live streams.
Right.
And you could just watch like all 6 or 9 people at the same time if you wanted.
That's right. And then I put that website together. That's probably what you're talking about, where I had to code that. If you're talking about the website, where you could go to that tab
Yeah.
and it had everybody's, and then you could do a drop-down menu, and if they had movies loaded, you could watch their movies or their past broadcast or whatever. That's what you're saying. That was amazing back then. You can't do that anymore. It's like, what happened to that?
That was back when I was working overnights for Walmart. Fuck that job. And we would be up at like 4 in the morning while everyone else was asleep, and you'd just be pissed off at the coding. You'd be yelling and screaming and griping because it would just fail, and then it would fail, and then it would fail, and then finally we started getting it to work. We were just muscle throwing it, and it ended up being like one of the best websites around because you could just go there and just chill out and watch whatever you wanted to.
It was amazing.
It was like Justin TV before Justin TV. I mean, it's kind of like a, you think was pretty similar, but it was like a multi-stream, you know?
Yeah, it was awesome. And that was what we put together. If that's what y'all talk about, the one we put together, right?
Yeah, it's a shame it didn't take off, but it was just a little bit too early, I guess.
I mean, I don't know. I don't get it. We were. That's the thing. I've always been way ahead of my time. Believe it or not to digress away from us discussing the RX 480, which I'm going to get back on that. Because Gunto was talking about the 980 Ti versus mine. Back in, my God, 91, I think it was. I had just graduated from high school. I had this crazy idea that because I was big back in the day. Long story short, I was big into sound systems, and I used to go to what they call Thunder on Wheels, IASCA, USAC competitions for sound competitions in cars, subwoofers and SPL competitions, whatever.
Yeah.
DB drags, I think is what they call them now. But I used to do that big time. I mean, if you guys ever heard of Thunderbreaker or Thunderbreaker 2 or Thunderbreaker 3 or whatever, that was me. And if you ever heard of this dude named Johnny Seegers, who actually won like 3rd place in the world, I knew that guy. Me and him used to run circuits together in those competitions. Well, a few of those competitions, I used to see these people, the actuators, where it would basically be this panel, and you wouldn't see anything, just flat wood, and it would come up and it go. I'd be like, what the fuck is that? And it would be like amplifiers up on this thing, but it would be like in this wood, in the box. And it would come up, and it would come up, and it would show the amps. It would do all these little funky moves. And I got this idea. I was like, well, how come I can't add an actuator to like my tailgate? Or maybe a door on the side of a car. Or, you know, a van's back door. And I told my brother about this because he had money back then. And I was bringing this idea up to him, and I was like, look, I got the $1 million idea. And I told him. He's like, oh, that's the stupidest shit I ever heard in my life, man. Nobody's ever going to want that. Look today. Every fucking truck and van in America and SUV has got a lift gate. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I should have patented that, just the idea. Yeah. And it's like, it goes that, and like the website and so many other things. It's like, how many people out there kind of thought about the same things that didn't take off at the time, and now look at us. You know, we're at the mercy of YouTube and Twitch and all these other sites where we had that idea, and you guys are here. I'm glad Mr. Rogers actually interjected on that and said, hey, we had that website. That was the website to go to. You wanted to watch The Incredible Hulk? Got you. Go here. Click there. This person's got it. And we shared this information together.
I mean, I remember like back in the day, that site got a lot of traction. It got like,
oh my God, dude! I had
viewers
hundreds of thousands of unique views. My website was amazing.
That wasn't the Nightwolf incident happened on there, was it?
No, it wasn't on my site. That was on no. That happened on our believe it or not, on IRC. That was on T2's site. That's whenever he kind of modified IRC and had his stream going up on that. I remember when that happened, And he actually wanted to show me that when I went to his house and he turned that stream off. That was kind of an interesting evening in itself, but he couldn't find it. But no, that website, I wish I went there several times afterwards just to check and see, and all of it was just like, nope, not allowed, nope, not allowed, copyright, this and that and the other. I was like, what the fuck? So whatever. And I haven't been back to live stream in like 3 years, so or that website for that matter. But yeah, I mean that is a website, and I've always thought about in the back of my mind, how can we bring that back to now? I want my own private paid site to where even if I have to charge people 99 cents a month or give people access codes, you pay 99 cents to get in, and you want to come and watch whatever, or you want to come watch a live stream. You know, that was the deal. And I think we had that same idea back then as far as that goes. It's just kind of crazy how, you know, people... How am I still alive? What? Who is this? Chicken? Uh-oh, everybody. We got somebody in the chat. Look out. It's coming.
Chicken hawked.
Yeah, you see that? How am I still
He's
alive?
How are you still alive?
I don't know, man.
Right,
I have no clue.
He hadn't seen you. Maybe he hadn't seen you in a while.
Maybe that's what it is. I have no clue. He's stunned. But that's okay. But anyway, let me get off of that. But yeah, you're right. That was an amazing time. That was our peak right there. And then we kind of dropped off. The dark times happened. Here we are again. And we're climbing back up. And hopefully...
That was about the time... I think that's about the time that T2 got banned or whatever, too. So he gave up.
Yeah, I mean,
so
that's the thing. And shit happened.
Was kinda,
shit totally different happened to him than happened to me, but we were both, like, off YouTube. And then we lost our glory. I mean, hell, I was up to, like, 5,000 subscribers. He was up, I was like, oh, my God, this dude went from, like, you know, T2 went from, like, 14,000 to, like, 50,000 subscribers. It was, like, mad. I know for a fact he had 30,000. And I was like, this dude right here is going to be a partner. He's going to start making money and start doing things like Fred. He's like the next Fred. I mean, and here's where he went wrong. Let me tell y'all where T2 went wrong. For his fame to glory. He went wrong whenever his ass got world famous on a worldwide television show. Y'all remember that?
Was that the hoax?
The hoax. Whenever he was on
hoax.
G4 TV, and he didn't run with that shit afterwards. He should have taken that from that day and said, yep, I trolled y'all's asses. But no, what did he do? He let Athene take the spotlight and him be the internet troll. He should have taken that and done something. With his talent and with his... I mean, that dude's a smart dude. I'll give it to him. I don't know where he comes up or how he learns to do these things, but T2's an awesomely smart dude. And he should have taken that particular instance and ran with it. But no, he didn't. He wanted, oh no, man, oh my God. It's like it was no big deal to him. Dude, you were on fucking worldwide TV, dude.
Yep.
If that happened to me, oh, you better rest assured everybody in the world would know. Yeah, that was me. It would have been a video up the very that day. Not the very next day, but that day. And I would have been showing a clip.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I don't know. That's where I think, in my opinion, where he lost his fame, his glory. Because it wasn't far thereafter where he actually got banned from YouTube. It wasn't that long, about a year.
I don't even remember what he got banned for.
It was some bullshit person that actually, like, back during the very beginning of copyright stuff, saying that his stuff was infringing on them, and his account got hacked, actually, after that happened, the same person.
Yeah, now I remember.
And then his password got changed, and he he was such a person that didn't want to tell YouTube his real name, and the government would find out. And it was like, dude, it's not like you're on America's Most Wanted. Fucking tell him your name is Greg Oldstein or whatever it is. I don't know. Just tell him.
Yeah.
But that's how he is. He's such a secretive person. That's always been his problem. He could be a fucking millionaire right now if he wasn't so secretive.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just my opinion. I just happen to, and I'm gonna tell you, a lot of people don't even know this. Whenever I went to actually see his, meet him in person, I didn't even know I was at the Burger King at the end of his street. No fucking clue where I was. I was lost. I was fucking lost. It was fate that I saw T2 Darlington. I say Darlington in jest. Walking down the street towards my car, and I was like, is that T2? I recognize the head, but I don't recognize the rest of it. Because you never saw him from, the bust up.
Yeah.
But it was absolute fate. I was lost. I really was, because I was texting Rampage. It was like, dude, I have no fucking idea. It's really dark around here at noon. So I was, I don't know. Oh, yeah, he was big, Chicken Hawked, yeah, he was big. He did. He let his image fade away because he's so secretive. That's what I was just saying. But anyway, let's get back. What was I saying before all this thing was... Mr. Rogers, you totally threw our podcast off.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Man, what's going on around here? Oh yeah, Gunto was talking about the 980 Ti versus the RX 480, and you were doing the comparison as far as your $1,300 computer versus my $700 computer. Yep. Finish up on that, and then I'll give you my final thoughts on it. Then we can just sit here and bullshit some more. I don't care. I'm not in a hurry. I don't know about you guys. I'm really not.
Well, after my thought, I'll probably have to go because she laid down and I don't want to keep her up. But basically, yeah, the way that I helped build, because it was one of those, I got it from iBuyPower, and it was basically you just build it at the site, they put it all together, and they ship it to you type of things. And they did a reasonable price. Everything came out to as the cost that it would be if you just built it yourself.
Right.
With a little bit more in shipping, naturally.
Right.
And all that. But, yeah, 980 Ti is in there. I think it's got 16 gigs of RAM. We were going to put more RAM in there, but I decided basically to just swap to the 980 Ti and take out, because I think it was going to have 32 gigs of RAM or something insane in there.
Right.
We don't need that much RAM. Just 16's fine.
Yeah, you really don't, because honestly, and this goes for anybody that may be watching this video. To be honest, 8 gigs of RAM is fine. Personally, I do 16 gigs just to make me feel warm and fuzzy. On the realistic end of it, I just upgraded my i5 to 12 gigs. I don't see a performance difference. I'm just going to go out there and throw that out there. Because
I would say, RAM, having at least 16, maybe for, rendering stuff, if you still want to actually do anything on your computer.
Right.
If you're rendering, really high-quality videos and stuff like that, like in Vegas or whatever, you want to have RAM so you're not just sitting here for 4 hours trying to get it to come out.
Right.
But yeah, nothing more than 16. You don't really need 16 unless you're a studio computer that needs to do high-quality audio and video at the same time and a whole bunch of other garbage. But at that point, then you're running into $3,000, $4,000 computers. So.
And software.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, here's the bottom line. I came up with this concept probably about a year ago. On the announcement, on the big high hopes and all this and that and the other, and I told JP and all my friends, Jedi Knight, he's gone now, but even he knows, because we talked about this, is that the latter half of 2015, going into 2016 was going to be the year of AMD. Little did I know that it really was going to be that way. And the more that I saw coming from AMD made me want to do another AMD build. The 8370 build that we did with like the fucking Honda Civic, water cooler on the 8370, that dude could overclock that stuff to like 7 gigahertz if he wanted to, and it would never even break a sweat. He's running a 7970 or something like that graphics card in there. And I'm kind of curious as to how that build would actually do with an RX 480. And one day, maybe for Christmas, he might get one. I don't know. We'll see.
I want one first.
You want one first? You want an RX 480 first? Okay. When's your birthday?
May 5th.
Oh, you missed it. Damn. Oh, what the fuck? But anyway, we got Gun Tote on the Christmas list. Mr. Rogers is there too. Don't worry. But anyway, 2016 was the year of AMD for me. That's what I've said since the beginning, whether it be on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, whatever. This is the year of AMD. And so far, my impressions, summarized, so Gunto can go to bed and cuddle up and spoon and everything, is...
Hey now.
This card so far has surpassed what a lot of people out there say is possible, even with a card that doesn't have that, or a chip, a CPU that doesn't have that third tier. That seems to be this big what to do with people saying, well, you'll get a bottleneck at 60 frames a second and this, that, and the other. Well, I proved that to be wrong, not once, not twice, but every single time that I've played games. Even with Black Desert, I think at some point in time, even on the highest settings, we hit 60 frames plus. Trackmania tonight, constantly in the 80s. What was it in H1Z1? Because I don't really remember. Was it 75? I kept looking at it. It was like 63 to 75, thereabout frames a second.
I think it was about 75.
All right, it was about 75 frames a second. Just
Even when
as
you
an
jacked
average.
it up to max, which was like 3,000, whatever.
And it didn't blink. It was like the card didn't even care. It's like, okay, 3,000. What
It
the
dropped
fuck?
it dropped like 5 frames.
I mean, it was like, I don't even care. Whatever. You want to go from 1,500 to 3,000? Go ahead. I don't care. And then here, as you see, right here to my left, you can see it while my camera's still up. I just hit 1290 megahertz, and that's where I have it throttled back because I have it on dynamic. I actually set it there up from 1288, which is only, 2 points above what it's actually overclocked? Ooh, ah. Not like it did a big thing. We had it at 1350. But I noticed in certain games, and this isn't just with the RX 480. This goes for any card out there. Every game is unique that you play. You're going to get different frame rates, different results, different performances, whether it be Hitman or fucking Peggle. That's the bottom line. And what I was saying way earlier, about an hour and a half ago, I guess, is that this card is not in the same class as the 1070. Nobody ever said that. AMD never said that. It's not in the same class as 1080, 1080 Ti, or any other card out there that's above a 980. It is in line, as Guntoad just stated. He has a 980 Ti. And what processor is she running in that, by the way?
I know it's a quad core.
Is it Intel or AMD?
I'm not too sure. I know it's an i7.
Okay, that's an i7, so it's Intel.
Yeah.
So she's running an i7 Intel. We know that. With a 980 Ti. And you're saying that your 980 Ti, and this is coming from unbiased opinion now. He interjected and made a point to say this, is that the 980 Ti was getting about 5 to 10 frames more than the RX 480. In my opinion, that is not that much. Especially since I went through the Heaven benchmark and a few other benchmarks that I didn't post to YouTube, where I was getting scores, and I even went over these scores, where on full screen max settings, extreme to the ultra max deluxe, I was getting the same scores as a 970, and on extreme ultra to the mega deluxe ultra whatever, under windowed, benchmark, it was in line with a 980. So those things that people say about, well, how bad. I hate the terminology that people say. How bad is the RX 480? There's some son of a bitch off of PC World. The editor, I think it is, as a matter of fact. How bad is the RX 480? How much power consumption does it do? Well, I've pushed this card, mine. If I blow it up, it's on me. Gun-Toed, all my friends in here, Mr. Rogers will tell you. It's on me. But we jacked this bitch all the way up to the 1370 the other night and black screened the game where it said, nah, I don't think you need to go that high.